Manny Moonraker, a brand women can trust. Cue the music. Welcome to UFO Buster Radio, UFO Report number 10. It's Monday, June the 12th. Okay, what you heard in the beginning was a recent conversation that happened through Facebook because I made a post. The post itself basically was like, hey, I'm back from my time off. The Moonraker is back. Well, someone asked, basically, who is the Moonraker? And thanks to Shay Shay, the response that she gave was, he's a brand women can trust. That's who. And if you've been listening the last couple of weeks, you know that that's in reference to yours truly being identified as a douche. So, 1 point, Shay Shay. Now, that was pretty funny. I just couldn't stop laughing. That was just hilarious. Thank you, Shay, for the laugh. But now let's move on to other business. Now that we got that out the way. We have 2 news articles in the UFO report for today, because that's what you're tuning in for right now, is your little heads up on the news and what's going on around the globe. The first one you've probably seen all over the place. It is a UFO report that came by a couple of lost nitwits out in the Boston area who proclaimed that they came across a UFO they've never seen before. So according to the story, one of those crazy kids was Ramona DiFrancesco, and 2 of her friends were lost for several hours Thursday night, and they had to be rescued by police. This, of course, was reported by WHDH-TV, and they even have a video on this article, which I'm going to paste on there in the description for you so you can check it out. So according to DiFrancesco, 18-year-old out of Plymouth, she said that they saw 2 ships that had these like bright spotlights, and then they saw these like weird orbs that was like a spotlight, sort of. Maybe what Ramona was looking at were probably a bunch of cops and helicopters that were searching for them because they were lost. With enough mushrooms, anything looks like a UFO. So anyway, the 3 were self-proclaimed UFO hunters. They were out taking pictures with their Nikon camera, and apparently their cell phone was going dead, but they managed to snap a picture of this mysterious object while they were lost, and they were actually lost in the Blue Hills near Boston. So if you're in the Boston area and you know these 3 wonder kids, give them a heads up. Tell them UFO Buster Radio covered their crazy story. The news article that I have in the description is actually from Fox News. Nope, it's not the Express UK or one of those tabloid types. It's from a, most of the time, not fake news organization. But anyway, we can at least say we're glad these 3 knuckleheads were found. And you never know, maybe they did catch some kind of a UFO not of this world. But really, when you look at the circumstance and what they reported, it could have just been spotlights trying to look for them, and that they claim were UFOs of another kind. You make the call. So the UFO Buster Radio co-host contest is almost about to wrap up. There are 3 days, well, 2 days, because today is pretty much almost done. June 15th, midnight, is your last chance to get that in, to be part of the contest, and to spend some time with the rest of the listeners giving your take on Unacknowledged. Don't be afraid. Just submit it. I'll be here with you, holding your hand, singing Kumbaya, while we talk about UFOs, Stephen Greer, and how well he calls them down to the beach at sunset. So get to it. Robbo, tell them where they can find us.
4.24. Don't forget to visit us at UFObusterradio.com, Instagram, Twitter, and on Facebook. You can help the podcast out by hitting the like button, sharing, following, and writing awesome reviews about me, Robo.
The next story is from Down Under. That's right. Down Under, where they eat Vegemite. Specifically, Wycliffe Well. Wycliffe Well is a self-proclaimed UFO capital of Australia, just in case you didn't know. As a matter of fact, the brochure for Wycliffe Well states that UFO sightings are so common that if you stayed up all night long, you would be considered completely and totally, frankly, unlucky if you didn't see a UFO. And while people think that the tagline is a little cheesy, if you go to the local restaurant, the walls are tattered with UFO sightings that have emerged from that area. The local folklore is that the UFO sightings began around World War II. They were so popular that even a binder book containing records of UFO sightings were being kept at a tourist park for quite a while. Unfortunately, some no-goodniks decided to steal this book, this binder, and it was never recovered. However, the sightings from the 90s on have been kept by the tourist park staff in their own little place, away from the ruffians. So some of the descriptions that you might read come out of Wycliffe Well include cigar, square, and rectangular-shaped UFOs. In some reports, some of the shapes were seen morphing. In addition to those, you get a lot of pulsating and flashing lights. Orange, green, red, spinning lights, and other lights that shoot beams of colors. There was one incident in which an individual witnessed a hovering UFO over the ground, which was significant in size. To quote a certain individual, it was huge. The witness reported that this UFO was hovering 100 meters above the park's toilet block, and that after a few moments, it took off with astonishing speed. I'm taking a strategic pause right now. This huge craft, seen hovering 100 meters over a toilet block, took off with astonishing speed. I almost can't add anything to that, so I'm going to just leave it right there. It is what it is. I can't. I'm sitting here, I'm thinking about it. I'm scratching my head, and it's like, okay. So the issue with this, that's not the story. So the toilet's not the story. The different shapes and the fact that they had a book that was stolen and they were recording UFOs since World War II. What the story is out of the Northern Territory newspaper is that the self-proclaimed UFO hotspot in Australia has had zero, zilch, nada, kaput UFO sightings in an entire year. Historically, it appears that during the dry season in that area, there has been a significant amount of UFO sightings in the past. However, there is a lack of extraterrestrial sightings in the last year. So while it's fascinating that these UFOs have stopped showing up or being reported basically by the tourists and the individuals that live in Wycliffe Well. This kind of brings me back to the whole Skinwalker Ranch thing where their activity subsided. Is it possible that these UFO events, these paranormal activities, interdimensional travel, space travel, whatever it is, however they're getting here, however they're making themselves known to a few, chosen few, are these events that occur in cycles? You know, does a certain star need to be aligned in some way in order for this to occur? Food for thought. What do you guys think? Are these in cycles? Are these things that have to have the stars aligned in order for this to happen and manifest itself? It's possible, huh? Maybe that's the case. Maybe this is why we never have solid evidence, because there's a limited time frame for these things to show up. That is today's news. Sorry, people in Wycliffe Well. Sucks for you. You gotta find something else to bring the people in now. So this has been Manny Moonraker. By the way, on Sunday we will have Donna back. So if you want to look through the archives, you'll see a couple episodes she was on here. She's well schooled in the Bible, and we've often had discussions regarding the Bible, UFOs, and things dealing with the paranormal. And she's got something new she's found. Something that we talked about on this podcast not too long ago. It's going to be fascinating. It's going to be live, and this Sunday. So this has been Manny, the brand that women can trust, Moonraker, signing out from Texas. Yippee-ki-yay, mother.